So the next question is, how do we go about to build an information system? Or what are these steps, or a better word I would like to choose called methodology, meaning how we go about building an information system. Let's imagine we are in a business situation where an end user received multiple complaints from customers about certain type of receipt that is really not making our customer very happy. So the end user, who is really very caring about the business, sent a system request to one of the management in order to correct that problem. So the end user explained very well all the problem that he or she ended up facing dealing with the customers, and how the customer reacted to unpleasantly to the situation. And as a result, the end user very well described everything that went through she or he went through in order to explain the problem. So the system request was given to that manager, and the manager handed that to what we call steering committee. The steering committee, basically a committee that will take the system request, okay, and put it into a queue, meaning first in, first out. I mean, first come, first out. That's the queue. First in, last gap. That's called stack. But that's not necessarily is always the case, because depending on the importance of the system request. So if the system request was valid, or looked at by the steering committee, then there will be an initiation to go ahead and implement the methodology for this business need, which mostly it has to do something with computers related activities. So the very first step after the system request is accepted is to go ahead and do planning for the next system. So the planning is going to really create a better understanding of the situation, and it's going to also look at the constraints and the opportunities that this new addition or modification or whatever, the size of that system request, the opportunity, again, I'm mentioning it twice, the constraints, I mentioned it twice. We need to understand the scope of the system request and how it's going to impact the business. So what the preliminary investigation, what the planning phase is going to do, is going to really end up with preliminary investigation report that will tell me exactly what's going on with the system. Okay, sorry here, I'm kind of like making all sort of misspelling word here, but thanks God to Word, I could click on the right button of the mouse and correct it. Anyway, we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we understand the preliminary investigation is going to come up with an indication that this is valid system request. If it's valid, then we have to worry about feasibility. And that's also misspelled. Feasibility studies, which can be concerning with 4 of them. The first one is going to be technological feasibility, meaning if the system, the technological requirement is going to be met, or they are available. Like, for example, if we're trying to ask for something completely outrageous, like a robot who could communicate with us on the emotional level, of course that technology is not going to exist, and we're going to run out of the option of having that available. As a result, the technological feasibility will fail. I'm being here drastic in order to get the point across. And we also have another feasibility, it's called operational, meaning people who are really going to operate the system know what they're doing and they're available. Like if you're in the middle of a desert somewhere and you have people to run certain type of information system, maybe for digging or looking for waters or oil or whatever, then you have to have the people who locally do it. If they don't have them, then we have to really bring them to that environments in order to operate. So most of the time that is not a problem, but in the rare case situation it is. Then we have economical feasibility or economics feasibility, meaning if it's going to be affordable. I mean, it's not going to really run us into what we call in the red, causing us to create a huge debt. And of course, we have another one beside this. It's called time or schedule feasibility, where if it's going to be done within reasonable time, if it's going to take like drag for 3 years, of course, we don't want to really spend that much time in order to correct the situation. Of course, there are other type of feasibility like ethical feasibility and environmental feasibility that we look at. So once the planning, and if it does pass all these feasibility, then we're going to go ahead and look at the second phase of building an information system. By the way, I forgot to mention this. This is actually called the System Development Life Cycle. So this is basically a typical traditional way of doing things. System Development Life Cycle. Should we see here? System Development Life Cycle. It's a methodology. It's a way how we do things. Also, it's called waterfalls because it's really one step after the another. It's sequential by nature. Then we have the analysis phase, which is it's going to really dig into a better understanding beyond the planning in order to determine the requirements for the new system. So we're going to really get into it. Okay. And then we're going to have the design phase, which is going to produce a blueprint, or a design of what is needed to solve the problem. Then we have implementation or building, which is gonna actually put that design blueprint into an actual physical system where for the first time the end user for the first time will use the new modification or the new system. Okay. Then of course we have the use phase, where people start to use it, get the benefit of the new addition, modification, and new system. And of course, things start to decay. Okay, so we have decay, troubleshooting. It's going to take place, and maybe we're going to actually start all over after a while. So that basically all systems start to get old one way or the other. So we'll be able to actually start them all over. See, we go from here all the way to, go ahead and do this, all the way to top, this didn't work for whatever reason. We're going to go ahead and insert. Okay, so it goes back to this one here, to the system request. So like in a circular motion. That's why we call it System Development Life Cycle. It might actually go ahead and start it from the beginning. So again, planning is the first phase, analysis, design, implementation, and of course the use of the system, which is going to serve the purpose, but things start to get old, decay in use requirement is going to pop up, and as a result we will be able to really either write a new systems or troubleshoot the situation. Very good. So this is basically what we're going to have as a result of the system development life cycle. You need to understand also in the process of doing what we're doing, we need to be able to distinguish between two things. System development in general require varieties of backgrounds. So we need programmers who really would write the code, and we need a system analyst. So I want you to know what is a system analyst's job in order to be familiar with this title, because more likely that's what will be your position if you start a degree in information system or maybe a business degree, but you wanted to go to the technical side of it. This person must be equipped or ready to handle the situation based on multiple skills. The first skill a system analyst must have is being technologically savvy, technical savvy. And we have business savvy also. It has to be business savvy. Understand the business. You need to be a people person with real, serious, excellent interpersonal skills. You know, also have an intrapersonal skill, meaning he or she gets along with herself. This is a little bit too psychological here, but again, people who are not happy with themselves, they're not going to make anybody else happy. As a result, also we care about this. And of course, beside that, need to love to learn, because situation like this, you need to love to continue to learn, or a lifelong, if you want to say that, learner. You can't really get bored or dissatisfied with the amount of change that takes place in our field, whether it's business or information system or computer science. All of them interrelated to each other. So this is basically a system analyst must have those type of scale, and I hope you heard enough about the system development lifecycle, and at least if you come across it, you understand what it is, you know what its feasibilities now, studies, and you know what a system analyst must possess in order to be successful. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you in other videos in the future.